third graders, welcome back. Welcome to week 3 and your performance task of the week. Throughout this week, you've been doing some awesome work with Ms. Yeager and with me, working with tangrams and various other tools to subdivide and combine polygons. Today, we're going to take that work a little bit further, and I have 2 options for you to choose from. Actually, I have a third I think that you guys can do today as well. But these are great challenge activities that you can do today, as well as throughout the weekend or throughout the week. Really, anytime you want to practice and really use your brain and the tools that you've gained this week. So let's get started. So for today, our ican statement is, I can combine. Remember, combine means to put together, and subdivide. Remember, that means to break apart into smaller components and into more polygons. So I can combine and subdivide polygons with 3 or 4 sides and name the resulting polygon or polygons if there's more than one. So as a reminder, last week you guys talked about polygons, and a polygon is a closed figure with at least 3 angles. Today we're going to be working with polygons that have 3 or 4 sides only. Do you have an idea for what polygons we could be working with? For our first task, if you're going to be following along with me using our pencil and paper handout, you're going to be working with polygons with 3 or 4 sides, which means we're going to just be working with triangles and quadrilaterals to break them apart into more polygons. And those could be similar polygons to what you started with, or they could be different depending on how you break it apart. So for today, you're going to need the lesson handout, and that's where you can find that where you found our video for today, as well as a pencil and a straight edge. Remember, a straight edge can be literally any straight edge item that you can find in your house. Right in front of me, I have a bookmark, so like that could work. A piece of thicker paper, a book, a picture frame, a box, you name it. If you don't have a ruler, that's okay. If you are not able to print out today's lesson handout, that is completely okay as well. I know that you may not have access to print something out. I know my printer here is out of paper and out of ink, so I can't print anything out either. So if that's the case, I don't want anybody to feel like you're missing out for today. If that's the case for you, there are 2 separate activities that you can do that are going to be shown towards the end of our lesson. So you can still follow along with us and think through what you would do if you did have that handout. But again, there's something for everybody to do today. So if you don't have the printout, that's totally fine. You can just follow along, and instead of pausing and doing it on your own, you can just think in your brain about how you would subdivide the polygons that I'm going to show you, and then you can just follow along with my solutions. So if you need a second to get your materials together, just pause your video right now, go get your materials, and then come back and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so our task for today, how can you use straight lines to divide each shape into 2 or more figures? So how can you use straight lines to divide? Remember, we're thinking about how we're breaking apart each shape into 2 or more figures. And you can be really creative today when you're working. You may decide, I'll just make 2 figures. Or you may be really feeling creative and use a ton of straight lines today to create lots and lots and lots of figures within the polygon that we're starting with. So again, when we're going through this today and I'm sharing my solutions, remember, your solutions could be different than mine, and that's totally fine. We're just looking at possible solutions. So we're going to look at the way that I did it, but if your paper doesn't look like mine or you thought about it a different way, chances are you are still completely right. We all are thinking through this a little bit differently, so don't feel like your work has to be identical to mine. In fact, it probably shouldn't be. So get really creative and think outside the box. My suggestions and my solutions are just how I was thinking through it. All right, so if you're looking at your screen right now, you are going to see a quadrilateral. We have a 4-sided figure, and in particular, this looks like a square because all of my sides are the exact same length. So if you have a paper handout, you're going to be looking at the first question. It should look just like my screen, and I want you to use your straight edge to subdivide this polygon into 2 or more additional shapes. So take a moment to pause. If you have your paper, you can work that out now. If you don't, I want you to think, if you're looking at your screen, how would you break it apart? Where do you see areas where we could subdivide this polygon? When you're ready to keep going, you can pause your screen and then unpause to see a possible solution. So my possible solution when I was looking at it was, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start by drawing a straight line right here. And when I did that, what do you notice that I created? I see instead of having just one quadrilateral, now I have two quadrilaterals. I see two rectangles. But I didn't want to stop there. I was like, you know what? I think I can subdivide this even more. So I drew another straight line. Now what do you see? Now I started with one quadrilateral. Now I see three quadrilaterals. I have a rectangle and two squares. But I didn't want to stop yet. I was like, you know what? I think I can make another different type of polygon. So I drew another straight line. And now, what figures do you see? Now you may see two quadrilaterals and two triangles. So that's just one possible solution. So now we also have a quadrilateral again. On your paper, use your straight edge to subdivide it to create at least two or more additional polygons. Remember, your work may not look like mine. You may just draw one line. You may have 15 lines. That's totally up to you. Just remember, we want to use our straight edge so we can be as precise as possible when we're doing this. All right, if you have some ideas ready or you want to see what I did, you can go ahead and continue your video at this point. All right, so here's what I did. I started by drawing a line diagonally going across at this point, and I connected the two vertices that were in this upper left-hand corner and this bottom right-hand corner. And I started with a quadrilateral. Now what two shapes do you see? I see two triangles. That's probably what you see as well. But I didn't want to stop there. Again, I kept going. So what do you see here? Now I have two triangles, 1, 2. And then what about this shape? 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like another type of quadrilateral that I have. But I wasn't done yet. So I drew another line. So now I have three triangles, 1, 2, 3, and a quadrilateral that I created just from one quadrilateral that we started with. And then I wasn't finished quite yet. I drew another line, which gave me one more triangle. And then I have one more quadrilateral over here. All right, this is the last one that we're gonna do together. So on your paper, or if you don't have paper and you're just following along with us, I want you to think or draw your line segments that you can use to divide this polygon into additional polygons. Remember, two or more. You can just draw one line. Again, you can draw lots of lines. But go ahead and pause your screen and either think or record your work on your paper. All right, if you have some ideas, you can go ahead and look at what I did here. So as a reminder, these are just my possible solutions. Your work could look completely different from mine, and that is totally okay and encouraged. All right, so this time I started by drawing a horizontal line, and you're gonna see that I broke up my triangle into a triangle and a quadrilateral. So that was my first move. And you guys know I like drawing more than one line, so I kept going. So now I did a vertical line segment, and you're gonna now notice that I have two quadrilaterals and two triangles. Did your work look like mine by chance? It may have. All right, and then I wanted to break it up again. So I drew another line segment here. So now I see I have 1, 2, 3 triangles and 2 quadrilaterals. And then I did the same thing on the other side. So now I have 4 triangles and 2 quadrilaterals that I created just by dividing the triangle that we started with, by subdividing it. All right, so if you started there, on your paper handout that you're gonna have, if you have that in front of you, you'll see that there are a lot more questions for you to try out. If so, if you have that paper copy, I want you to keep going. Use your straight edge to subdivide the polygon into as many different polygons as you can. Get creative. If you've already done that, if you want to pause your video, you can do that, and then meet back here. If you are meeting back with us right now, or if you were just following along with me because you didn't have the handout, you can keep going with me because I have a couple other fun games and tasks that you can use today as a challenge. So our first one, this is one of my favorite challenges, and you're gonna see this link is available to you exactly where you found the lesson today. And it says, just how can the same 7 pieces of the tangram make the following 2 silhouettes of a bowl before and after it was chipped? Paradoxical, eh? There are other paradoxes that can be found using the tangram, which you might like to find out about. So what we mean by that being like paradoxical is we have 7 pieces for both, the exact same pieces, the shapes are still the same, but we can make 2 different shapes. So your challenge is, see if you can make 2 bowls using the interactivity. Can you explain the paradox and how it happens? So if this is a task you want to try out, again, you can go back to the link for where you found today's video, and it's going to take you to a page that looks just like this. And if you scroll down, you're going to click to use the Flash player, and I'm going to allow it on my computer just for this time. And you're going to see an interactive that you can use, and you can actually take those pieces. Remember, you can click on the corners to move them and get them to fit how you want, and you can create both of the tangram shapes. So I tried to do this. This took me a little bit. It was really challenging, but I really liked it. So this is one task that you can try out today. From there, if you've completed that task and you want one more, which I hope you do, I know I also love doing these because I love puzzles and I love problem solving. I have one more task for you, and that's called the World of Tan. So if you go back to where you found today's link, you're going to see one more link that will take you to the World of Tan, and the page is going to look like this. Once you're there, there are, I believe, 30 different puzzles that you can work on and solve. And you're going to be using your tangram pieces to fit the outline. So for these, they're going to be a little bit more challenging because they're not going to give you the lines. They're not going to show you where it goes. You're going to have to try it out. So this is a great activity for you to work on today, or if you want something to work on throughout the weekend or just use in the afternoon next week to tie in with some of our lessons, this is a great activity for you to try out, and I hope you enjoy it. So for today, there isn't a flip grade for you to share your work, but I'm excited to see you all next week, and I can't wait for us to continue all of our work, and I hope that you enjoy working on these different tangram puzzles and your subdividing polygons activity. All right, until next time, bye everyone.